That's 4 snaps for you, baby.
Oh shit, it's Sunday again.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sunday, bitch. Yeah.
Getting that cream.
I want the cream. Give daddy that cream.
Getting that cream. Getting that cream.
Brace yourself for the cream.
Now that I've fucking blew the intro, we'll do it again. Hey friends, welcome to yet another episode of CPS. My name is Josh, and with me as always is my friend, my companion, Rick. Sicky Ricky this week. How you doing, buddy?
Feeling delicious, feeling nutritious, but I'm sick as a fucking dog, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little better today, but yeah, yesterday I must have blown my nose like 100 times in the last like 3 days, dude. It's ridiculous.
100 times. That's 30 times a day.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know how far that ranks for how many tissues I went through in a 3-day period, but, I mean, those teenage years, let's just say I was sick.
Yeah, you're busting nuts left and right.
Bust a fat nut.
Busting all kinds of nuts.
Dumping loads like a goddamn pilgrim.
I don't even understand the metaphor, but
I don't even know what's going on right now, dude. I'm like tripping out in my basement.
yeah. Well, I had a crazy night last night, and it was for my birthday and everything. But here's what I'm thinking, man. You know how George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, both their birthdays are in January? January, right?
I did not know that, but okay.
No. They're both in February. Or no. When the fuck are they? Abraham Lincoln's definitely February 12th. But they do President's Day in between their birthdays. That's what President's Day is. It's the day in between Washington and Lincoln's birthday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They split the difference. Okay. So for our birthdays, since they're both in March, we should do like a Cream Pie Sunday birthday podcast in the middle of our birthdays. Since it was just mine and it's going to be yours soon.
Okay.
Like a crazy birthday edition, like President's Day style.
So what day would this be? Would this be next weekend then?
Yeah. we'll have to look at the logistics. I'm in no state of mind to run statistics right now, but we're gonna have to divide somehow.
Jamie, get the data. We need this. We need this now.
Yeah, pull that shit up. Pull up that calculator. But yeah, it probably would be. We could do like a crazy birthday bonanza. You know.
I suppose we could. I'd be down.
Yeah. Man, so you're just sick in your basement, just beating off.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. Sounds like it.
But so the other day I was at work and I was thinking about. We talked about a little bit of that fat dude with the red shirt that just eats a bunch of food, and I said it was Mukado, and you said it was something else, and
avocado.
I did a little bit of research. Yeah, avocado. The Nikado avocado guy or whatever.
That's right. Yep.
It's called Mukbang, and it's when you get a shit ton of food and you just sit there and just like basically degrade yourself in front of the camera. It is like this. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen, dude.
Mukbang.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, you eat like a bunch of garbage on camera. It's like a style of porn, kind of.
Yeah, because I got turned on to it because Meat Canyon made that video about him, and I'm like, okay, so this guy can't be that bad. And then I saw he had Meat Canyon on for a mukbang, and he's just like sitting there like cracking jokes about him the whole time, and it's like, God, this must be so uncomfortable. Like this guy makes a cartoon about you being a fat piece of shit, and then you just like invite him to your house so you could eat like 1,000 nuggets and McRibs until you pass out.
He invited Meat Canyon over?
Dude, there's like a 45-minute video of like Meat Canyon sitting next to this guy just like devouring his food with like his new gay boyfriend. Well, obviously, if it's his boyfriend, he's gay, but like next to his new boyfriend, and they're just like shoveling nuggets into this dude's mouth. It's surreal.
I didn't know that Meat Canyon actually like made a video with him, because it was like a beef. It was like a pretend beef. It was kind of funny because he made the video, and then I remember that avocado guy responded with like, oh, they're making videos about me, and like I thought it was a beef, but that's funny. So Meat Canyon actually went over his house and did mukbang with him.
I mean, you think about it, it's a good business move on both their sides, because like it kind of shows that Meat Canyon was like just making a joke, and the other guy is like okay with it, but like he's sitting next to him and he's like, yeah, this is the guy that put me in such a negative light, and no, I didn't eat my boyfriend, and blah blah blah. And it's like I'm just like sitting there. It's like, is this like real? Like, what is this like a storyline that we're following here? Like, this is so strange to me.
Yeah. That's wild.
God damn.
That's funny. I might have to go back and watch that video, dude. I'm a big Meat Canyon fan, but I haven't watched any of his stuff in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was on that Avocado Guy's channel, but yeah, it was kind of strange. I don't know, man. I feel like every week I'm like looking into more and more Meat Canyon stuff because now he does a podcast with some other dude, and
Oh yeah,
he has like that Papa Meat channel that I get into, and I probably watch that like once a week. And I don't know,
Dude.
I feel like just his demeanor, like I really like appreciate like the character that he is.
yeah. It's funny because he'll like have videos on the Papa Meat channel that he never released on the Meat Canyon channel that were like throwaway videos that weren't like the best video, but they'll be good still.
Yeah.
Like they're still worthy of release, which I guess he does release them on Papa Meat, but it's like, dude, this is still impressive. Like the Scooby-Doo one, he doesn't release them on Meat Canyon because I guess those are like the ones that make the cut that are like the best videos go on Meat Canyon.
Yeah.
But he has so many videos on Papa Meat that are still like really funny or like really impressive. It's like,
Well, he does like
how did this not make the cut?
Yeah, he does reviews and stuff. So he did one on like the new Pooh Blood and Honey movie. Like, did you see anything about that?
There's a movie called Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah. So basically, there's like a copyright law where if the creator of something dies 70 years after they die, it becomes free use material. And I guess that happened for Winnie the Pooh.
No
and,
shit.
Some guy made a movie called Pooh, Blood and Honey, and it's just like these like humanized creatures of like Pooh, and like they're just like murdering people in the woods and shit. It's like a ridiculous horror movie, but it's like a free use thing now.
Dude, I didn't know Pooh was free use.
Yeah, it is.
Pooh is that old now, dude? Wow.
I mean, it must be.
Well, dude, I remember like I was looking at Disney movies in general, and sorry, there's a guy outside mowing his lawn, so hopefully he can't hear me. He definitely.
You're good.
I have my window open, so screaming about Winnie the Pooh out the fucking goddamn window. You know, he's mowing his lawn, but he's got one of those he's got one of those lawnmowers that's like not gas or electric. It's just like, you know how you push it and it spins and just cuts the grass?
He's got one of those?
Yeah. It's just like, it's
Bro,
like,
did you wake up in the 1950s today? What the hell?
bro, here's the thing. If that really works, how come everybody doesn't just use those?
Because they're very probably ineffective compared to a spinning blade with a motor.
Yeah, he's like kind of sprinting back and forth on his lawn with this thing. It's not doing much.
Yeah, I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to stroll around my yard, probably half baked, and figure it out that way.
All right, I'm closing the window. Just close the window because I don't want to. I don't want to
Attract the wrong. Imagine he's like a diehard Pooh Bear fan, and he just comes like breaks in your window and shit.
Nobody's talking shit about Winnie the Pooh. He's wearing a
And I
Pooh Bear
guess,
shirt. I mean,
He's wearing one of those like red like crop top shirts.
yeah, he definitely is
He
staring.
looks like
He's staring
looks like
directly
Winnie the
at
Pooh.
me.
He's not wearing pants. He's just wearing a red shirt.
Winnie the Pooh style, no pants, baby. That's how I mow my lawn.
He just like sits Indian style with like a giant ass like planter full of honey and just like.
Honey, we gotta move. Something is going on. That's an HOA complaint. Yeah, go ahead, fire away. I think I'm still drunk from last night.
Yo, imagine you woke up and it was the 1950s and this is the last connection you have to the present time, and you like woke up and like segregation was going on and we just got out of World War II. You're like, dude, fuck.
Like Jim Crow laws and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Well, I don't know if that was still around. Well, I guess it was.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah, they were around.
imagine,
The 60s.
like, imagine you got to use your knowledge of the present to like set you up for the future.
So the scenario is I wake up and my only connection to the current like future world is like you mean?
Yep. Every Sunday when we do the podcast.
That's the only time I can be like, hey, how's my family? Like, how's everybody doing? Are you guys still okay in 2023? How are shit? Like, you guys hit World War III yet? That type of shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is getting out of control. I think we should change topics.
And then, well, dude, obviously, you know what I would do? I would take all the money I have and I put it in in whatever, and then give you access to the bank account.
Yep.
And then you'd be rich. But I would have no way to make a profit because you can't send money back in time. Interesting. It's quite the conundrum.
I don't know.
But I could make I could make everybody I know rich, but I couldn't reap the benefit.
This is like a Back to the Future like scenario.
Well, I do y'all solid. I would invest in a bunch of stuff, that I know is going to be successful.
Yo, the real question is, what happened to the Goths?
They became emo and then they died away.
Oh, is that what happened to them?
Yeah, they became emo and then they became trans. And now they're gone.
Do you think? If it was like 20 years ago, there'd be like a National Goth Day. There might be a National Goth Day that I'm just unaware of.
I'm sure there's a Goth Day, dude. They have a holiday for fucking eating hot dogs and shit. They have a holiday for everything. There's got to be a Goth Day.
They definitely have a day for wearing eyeliner and spiky boots.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. There used to be odd people that just didn't fit in that called themselves goth, and then they were the emo kids, and they were the vampires. Like the whole Twilight thing, like brought in a whole era of vampires. But I think anybody that's weird or uncomfortable nowadays in school, I think it just assumes they're trans, and I think it's just a big trans thing now.
That's kind of like the outcast group now. Like that's where people just kind of gravitate towards.
And the difference is being goth or emo or a vampire kid or a weirdo, like you didn't get rewarded for it. But these days, if you're trans, you're cool. So if you feel like you're socially awkward or odd or different or don't fit in with any clique, I think that you assume that you're trans because that's kind of the agenda we've pushed on these kids. And then you're rewarded for it. Everybody thinks you're cool. That's got to be why there was like 2 trans kids in our high school.
Mm-hmm.
And now at PA, Pembroke Academy, where we went to high school, there's like 55 trans kids.
Holy sweet Jesus.
I still have cousins in the school system. And there's like 5 trans kids in my cousin's class, like in her homeroom alone. It's like an epidemic.
That's wild that they can field like a full NFL team worth of trans kids.
Yeah.
Like there's more kids than there are on the football team. Like that kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. It's not just PA. It's every high school in the world, in the United States. Not in the world. I mean,
yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's crazy. But, and obviously I want anybody to feel comfortable, and there are legitimate people with, body dysmorphia or gender dysphoria. And you should feel comfortable and everything. But dude, I don't know. Are there really that many trans people, or is it just kind of like a social contagion sort of thing? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, man. I think we're definitely to the point now where like stuff. It's weird because we're living in a time where it's like cool to be different, and it's always been like that. But now it's like, if you feel. The problem is everybody goes through puberty. I mean, you and me went through it, like where you have rough times. And like, I remember sitting in my car after I get home from school and just like staring at myself in like the mirror and just being like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, don't know what I'm doing. Like, you just have so many questions about your future and all this other shit. Whereas like now kids are like, they seek for a reason. Like, why do I feel like this? Why am I like this? Yeah. And they get to the point where it just makes sense to them that, oh, maybe I'm gay, or maybe I'm a trans, or, where back in the day, people just wore like, 3-foot chains on their wallet pocket, and they wear Slipknot shirts and giant black boots, and then they marry some other metalhead, and now that's how it went. But yeah, now it's like, I mean, even
it's a weird time, dude. It's a weird time for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what they just need to tell these kids. Like, listen, you're not a boy stuck in a girl's body. It's a fucked up time in your life. Everybody goes through it. It sucks. Puberty sucks. Being in high school sucks sometimes, It's just you're developing into an adult. That's the way it is. It's not fun for anybody. There's certain things,
guaranteed. There's definitely been the situation where you could talk to like, so say somebody was like, a male until they were 12 years old, and then from 12 to 22 they were a female, and then once they hit 23 they're like, fuck, maybe I should be a guy, And you ask them, they could be like, yeah, that was a mistake. I wish I just,
It's called detransitioning.
I wish I just didn't just. Yeah, exactly. It's like I wish I had just kind of like stopped and like evaluated, like I'm not even a teenager yet. I'm yet to go through all these like emotional changes, and then I'm getting shot up with estrogen and all this other shit, fucked up my body for my life.
It's horrible.
And I really want to be a guy.
It's horrible,
But like,
and
it's crazy.
It's become like a right-wing idea to not want to give hormone blockers to children. Like, it's really not. It shouldn't be a controversial thing. We're talking about protecting kids. And we're talking about you can be whatever you want to be when you're an adult. But if you even bring this up, like, we're going to get not that we're monetized, but if we were monetized and we had sponsors and like we had a big podcast and we were talking about this, we would have to be worried about getting shadow banned just even bringing up the subject, which is fucking crazy. You should be able to talk about things, but it's become controversial to say that you don't think it's right to give children hormone blockers, and that you think that they should be adults when they decide to take hormone blockers. They're not old enough to vote yet, but you're gonna, and not only just not just drugs. Like, you can't say I don't think you should be able to mutilate a child. I don't think you should be able to perform surgery to remove sexual organs on kids. Like, if you say I don't think you should cut like an 8-year-old's dick off, then you're a crazy right-wing person that doesn't understand trans people, that's not on board with the LGBTQIA plus group. That's where we're at.
Yeah, because you might get to the point. You might get to the point where the 8-year-old says, "Yep, dice me up. I want to be a she," and then they're basically like, "Well, no. The way it works is you can't do it till you're 18." So then they're like, "Well, so you're telling me I'm stuck in this body till you're 18?"
Yep.
By the time they hit 18, it's either, all right, do I chop it off or do I say, no, I'm over that phase. You know.
And you know what?
I feel like
They're probably
you don't
gonna
want
be
a
over
phase to like define your life, dude.
And you know, a lot of these people that think that they're women when they're in a man's body just end up being gay men when they grow up. That's a fact. And that's not like a weird right thing. They actually just end up being gay men. And that's fine. You can just be a gay guy. You don't have to like, dude, we are so canceled after this. We're fucked.
No, I think this is good points. I don't think we're saying anything offensive. I think that
No.
we're just kind of like voicing like, because the thing is like, this doesn't cover 100% of people. Like, there are people that like,
Of course.
they make transitions to the other gender and they're
course.
fine living that life, and that's okay. But like,
And good for them.
I feel like everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, whereas like,
Yeah.
maybe say half of the people going through the transitioning aren't maybe fully understanding what it means to go through that process because they are underage and they aren't fully developed.
Dude, you don't let your fucking kids pick what they eat for dinner. You're gonna let them fucking decide to mutilate their genitals?
They could do it themselves, dude. Sit up in your room with a freaking
A pair of scissors?
razor blade and a hammer. Here we go.
It is pretty vulgar.
Look what I did, Daddy.
Dude,
Look what I did, Daddy.
Speaking of trans shit, so that old episode of South Park that came out in like 2005 has resurfaced on in the Twitterverse, and they're passing it around like it's a new episode of South Park, and all these right-wing people are sharing it, being like, South Park finally released an episode and got it right. But it's like, yeah, this is from 2005, dude. It's the episode where Mr. Garrison has a sex change and becomes Mrs. Garrison.
Yeah.
And finds out that, what do you mean? So I can never have a baby and scramble its brains and have it vacuumed out of my snatch. but he finds out he can't have periods or get pregnant. And he's like, so I'm just basically a man with a mutilated penis. And the doctor's like, basically. He's like, man, I feel like a jackass. But, and then Kyle's dad becomes a dolphin.
Yeah, I've referenced the dolphin thing, I think in a prior cast. I think we were talking about trans stuff back then too. But I was like, I'm okay with my son being a chick. I don't want him to be a dolphin.
Yeah, that's the line. Trans species is where you draw the line. I appreciate that.
Once you're forming fins out of cartilage from somebody's knee, I think you got to stop and really ask the question here.
It's funny because that episode is so controversial now with like the whole trans movement. But they kind of got it right. And they got it right like 15 years before it got crazy like this. They've actually got it right a couple times with like PC Principal and Strong Woman, where who's that guy? What's the wrestler?
Mr. Mackey? Oh,
I'm a strong woman. Like that.
Yeah,
guy.
the Randy Savage.
Yeah. Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah.
Does the voice and he's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, strong woman. I'm the strongest woman. You know?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they got that right too. It's like, dude, there's some nuance to this shit. Like, I'm okay with people being happy. I just don't know if I agree with biological men competing with females. It's not fair to female sports. There's a reason why we have female sports and male sports. They're two different things. There's a reason why. It's because, by the way, all you fucking bitches out there that want to complain about how people in the WNBA don't make as much money as people in the NBA. When's the last time you watched a fucking WNBA game? How about support your fucking cause? You can't name three. You can't name three goddamn WNBA players. You don't know any teams. You never watched a game, and you're complaining they don't make any money. Why do you think they don't make any money? It's because nobody fucking watches, including you. So if you want them to make money, how about buy a ticket to a fucking game? How about fucking watch a game so they can sell advertising? The reason they don't make as much money is because nobody fucking watches. So stop complaining. You're not going to support it. Stop complaining.
I don't know if I know a single WNBA team. Is the Mystics? Is that a team?
Probably.
I don't even know, dude.
Sounds pretty funny.
Sounds like a WNBA team.
Yeah. The Mystics.
Jesus, I don't know, man. The Mystics.
The only
I
one,
can't name any. I could probably name more players than I can fucking teams.
I know one player, Brittany Griner, and that's because of Russia.
There was Candace Parker. She's like an announcer for like the NBA now. That's the only reason I know her.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a couple. But yeah, Bill Burr.
Definitely a lot of chicks that can kick my ass.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, they're good at basketball. I'm not saying they're not good. But Bill Burr has that whole thing in his latest special where he goes on a rant and he's like, dude, go support your cause. Like, you bitches don't watch basketball and you're complaining that they don't make as much money. Why do you think they don't make as much money? Like, it's not like you could just pay everybody equal to do the same job when the job is an entertainment sports business. Like, you have to bring in the same amount of revenue. That's how they get paid. They bring in revenue. Nobody watches. There's never been a sold out WNBA fucking game. There's nobody watches it. It's not like when it's on TV. I mean, dude, and there's a lot of jokes about it. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying, ladies, if you want the ladies to make more money in the WNBA, fucking name 3 players, and then I'll explain to you why they don't make any money. Like, support your cause, you know?
I think, I don't know if it was Joe Rogan that brought it up or something, but I think somebody said, so imagine, Brock Lesnar, like the UFC, WWE guy.
Of course. The Iceman.
So, I don't know. What?
The Iceman. Brock the Iceman.
No, that's Chuck Liddell.
Oh, shit. Yep, okay, so
Brock Lesnar's the guy with the tattoo of the dagger on his sternum.
Oh, okay, yeah. I always get them.
The guy that was in WWE, he played college football. He played for the Vikings for preseason. But anyways, I think it was Joe Rogan said, like, imagine growing up like that person was like a young athlete now and he was transitioning. Imagine Brock Lesnar was a chick. She would be able to break any record and forever hold that record for anything that they ever wanted to do physically in their life.
Yeah.
Because Brock Lesnar is such a freak of a compared to a male population, such a athletic freak that if he were to go to the D League, which would be joining females athletics. Okay, that's not a good way to put it. That's kind of offensive.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were to like all of a sudden do like females wrestling,
you're not being offensive.
And he's like 285 pounds, 6'5", like, all right, let's do some Greco wrestling. Dude, he would kill people on the mat.
Absolutely.
Or he's doing UFC. Imagine Brock Lesnar doing freaking like UFC shit with a female like 125 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's like 3 of you. You know, he's gonna fucking destroy you, dude.
Oh, but Eric, he's on estrogen and he's on testosterone blockers. So like it's even now. It's fair.
Yeah, well, she can also bench 500 pounds for a set of 5, so get off your fucking high horse.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I agree with you 100%. And you know what? It's not offensive.
Those goddamn big beefy tits of his.
Yeah. Dude, women have like they have their elements. They are better than us at certain things. I mean, there are a couple of sports that women have first of all, they have a way higher pain tolerance than men. I think that has to do with childbirth, but they have a way higher pain tolerance. They're better long distance swimmers, and they're pretty good at long distance running too. But their pain threshold is way higher than men. But there are just things that men are better at than women. We have dude, there are benefits to being a man, even if you transition. If you go through puberty as a man, there are benefits to having testosterone in your body throughout your development. It's basically like giving a woman steroids for 20 years and then saying like, I mean, your bone density is bigger, you're a bigger human, you're stronger, you have better fast twitch muscle fiber. I mean, there are plenty of things that men enjoy from testosterone. versus women. And that's a fact. And the second you want to deny that, like, what do you think about the whole, this is turning into a whole trans episode. But what do you think about the swimmer, like the Leah Thomas thing?
So that's the problem. So like, obviously you want to support people for transitioning and making their life different and all that kind of stuff. So that part of it, I get it.
Whatever makes you happy.
But it's the same thing with like, I think the way you were born and the way you were labeled as a child should be the way that you have to compete in athletics, because it's the same thing with the Brock Lesnar conversation I just had.
Yeah.
Imagine he had transitioned.
He would destroy.
You know how unfair
everybody.
that would be through the NCAA, to the UFC, through the WWE.
fucking
Imagine
nuts.
Brock Lesnar fighting like a goddamn Trish Stratus in the WWF. Are you kidding me? That's not realistic. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I
don't know.
They write the scripts for that anyways. They could make it like, you know. I mean, but yeah, I know that WWE people do get beat up, and it is like a sport in the sense that those fucking people take a beating, like for real. It is impressive. But I mean, for real sport, like competition wise stuff, like MMA, like in the UFC, that's just not fair. Or like in any other sport, like you're saying, like,
yeah.
But Leah Thomas thing, mediocre male swimmer, you know, his whole life, and it was never that good of a swimmer, becomes a woman and is the best swimmer in the country. And all these other female swimmers that have been working their whole lives and competing are now getting blown out of the water, literally, by a person that transitioned that was a mediocre male swimmer. You know
what that's called from an outside perspective? It's called an unfair advantage.
Yeah, it's called being fucking insane. What are we doing?
But that's the problem though. Like, so in my mind, it makes sense. Like, if you're going to be a guy and transition into be a girl, that's fine. But if you're going to still compete, you need to compete under what your body. It should be based off your body mechanics, not off what you think you should be categorized as.
Yeah, you and your lady dick are not allowed to compete in women's swimming. I'm sorry, you like it just. Yeah, we're getting canceled. It's official.
Well, you ever watch Juwanna Mann back in the day? Basically, this dude got kicked out of the NBA, and then he dressed up like a chick, and he played in the WNBA, and that was a movie in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, Juwanna Mann?
Like,
Juwanna Mann?
Juwanna Mann, yeah. I don't know.
Well, dude, there's that other movie, Soul Man. You ever see that?
No.
Oh my God. So the concept of the movie Soul Man is even worse. So this guy is trying to get into college, but he can't get into college. So he does blackface and gets a minority scholarship to get into college. Pretends he's black. And it's called Soul Man. And he gets like a African-American scholarship to go to like college. Yeah.
And he has to wear blackface the whole time?
Yeah. I don't know if I think he wears, how fucking insane is that, dude?
That's crazy. I gotta look that up after this. That would be so. Whoever played that guy must be like canceled so hard right now.
Well, Justin Trudeau, the leader of Canada, has done blackface several times, and he still runs Canada. So, I mean, I think you're good.
Did the Canadians have slaves too, or were they all just kind of like chilling up in the cold winters and just kind of doing it?
That's a good question. I know the UK definitely did. So every time like anybody from England gives us shit for slavery, they actually manufactured the entire slave industry, and we were them before the revolution. So if anybody from England ever thinks America is corrupt and like used to have slavery, it's like, hey, bitch, guess what? Have another tea and a crumpet. You created slavery. Fucking bitch.
Well, I think I'm trying to pull back from like my high school history days of I think back in the day, like when slavery was still a deal, they tried to flee to Canada because then up there they could like be free of like that. I think that was kind of part of how it worked. I don't know if I'm making that up or not, but I think that's how it worked. Like either they went north and then like, because I mean, obviously up in north, like they didn't really have slavery as prevalent.
Holy fuck,
So they tried to escape north, or like Canada would be. Why? What's going on?
The Winnie the Pooh guy mowing his lawn is back, and he's not wearing a shirt.
Okay.
Dude, this motherfucker, holy shit, he's sprinting on his lawn with this lawnmower. He's not wearing a shirt anymore, dude. He's reverse Winnie the Pooh. He's got just cargo pants on. What the fuck?
He's got like bright red biker shorts.
What is wrong with this guy? Jesus Christ. Anyways, continue about the slaves in Canada.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Yo, you see any of this about Aaron Rodgers being in the dark for a couple days?
No, what did he do? He did like the dark thing where you go into like a dark room for a couple days?
Yeah, he did a darkness retreat. So for like 4 days, he just sat in like complete darkness and like took a shit and like ate his food, and with no sound and no light or anything, he would just sit there and basically contemplate his life and
no sound either.
Figure out if he wants to play football. No sound. Yeah, people would like drop food through like a thing in the door, and then he'd pick it up, but there'd be absolutely no light. So it wasn't that it was dim; it was totally like pitch black for 4 days.
Yeah, I've seen a video of a guy doing that like on YouTube, but that whole thing, like you start to hallucinate after like 24 hours, don't you? Because you have no stimulation, no stimulants.
Well, that's the thing. So he went on the Aubrey Marcus podcast, which is like he went on his thing for the ayahuasca discussion last year. That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
But he went on there like 2 days after he got out of the darkness retreat, and he's basically like, "Yep, no, you wake up, you have no idea what time it is. You don't know if you're 3 hours from a meal or 9 hours from a meal. So you just kind of sit there and you get up and you walk around, you bump into shit, and you just kind of sit and think about everything." But yeah, so I don't know if he's still playing football or not, but I mean, he kind of like runs through these scenarios in his head. But I mean, think about 4 days of like no phone, no communication, no light. Like that's got to be like a full brain reset.
Yeah, it might actually be good in some ways, but
yeah,
it's got to be weird, man. Like you don't know what time of day it is. Definitely after 12 hours, you lose track of time. So you don't know if it's night or day anymore.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that would be like difficult to do.
It would be horrible, especially after like day 2. You're like, you have no idea whether it's 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. anymore. And you have no access to anything. You're just like in complete darkness. Like, what do you do to keep yourself entertained? I would go insane. I bet a lot of people would go crazy after like a couple days.
Well, you're not supposed to go in there to entertain yourself. You're meant to go in there and kind of like think and meditate and just kind of
of course. But I
tap
mean,
into that.
How long can you meditate for though? How long can you think for before you start to lose your mind? You know?
Ask Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure he was close.
What was the conclusion? What did he come up with?
I don't know. Basically just a bunch of bullshit about blah, blah, blah. And I haven't really decided, but I think he wants to play football, but he hasn't decided if he wants to stay with the Packers.
So the fucking thing didn't work. So he has no idea.
Well, the problem was like he's had a plan for like 6 months and he was going to do it regardless of like his situation. And that's just kind of like the scenario that like the media painted him in of.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he said he went on these podcasts and he's basically like, yeah, so on Monday, everybody's saying I went in and I didn't. And then Tuesday, everybody said I already came out and I didn't start. And then Thursday, they said, nope, I started on Monday and I didn't. He's like, I went in on a Friday and everybody was wrong. Nobody doesn't know shit. So like Aaron Rodgers openly just talks shit about the media about like, these guys have no idea what I'm doing in my life. And they just like to make stories because it's just so ridiculous.
Well, he became like the enemy of the people during the whole COVID thing for not wanting to get vaccinated because he's allergic to one of the main ingredients in the vaccine.
Yeah.
So he became like this crazy anti-vaxxer. And he was even talking about it on podcasts. Like there are people that I was friends with in the media for, you know, the decade plus I've been in the NFL playing. There are people that I've been friends with that are reporters that were doing a smear campaign on me that became not my friend anymore. Just because I didn't want to take an experimental drug that, you know, I'm allergic to. Like literally he's allergic to one of the main ingredients in the fucking vaccine. But then he like but they were putting so much pressure on everybody to get vaccinated at the time because nobody knew anything. And he said I'm immunized because he got a different type of treatment, which he probably shouldn't have said that if he wasn't vaccinated. He probably just should have said like no. But so I think he has a whole different relationship with the media now is the whole point I'm trying to make versus what his relationship used to be. I think that he's very anti-media now because he saw what they did to him in the past couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't give a shit, dude. They try to bury you for the biggest title and the most views, dude. Like, they don't give a shit about the human that like it actually affects.
Yeah, they don't care. And that whole fucking thing in the NFL, and the way he talked about like how they were treating people, like different class citizens based on vaccination status and booster status and all that stuff. Like they would put like colors on you, and these people would have to like get tested like every 5 hours, whether they had symptoms or not. And it's just it was a weird thing. And I get it. Like there's a lot of money on the line. Dude, sports sucked during COVID. Watching NBA games with no fans. Remember they tried to do that like virtual fan thing?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
What the fuck? That was horrible, dude. And they had
did that with they did that with WWE too. So like they went down to Florida because like every single. So the thing is, there's wrestling Monday. Well, there's Monday Night Raw, and then there's SmackDown, and then there's something called NXT.
Yeah.
But basically, they do house shows every single day of the week, so they would literally travel all around the country. So when they couldn't do that and couldn't have fans, they basically sent everybody down to Florida to their training facility, turned it into a one-stop shop where they could film every single show, and they would have literally TV monitors all around in the fucking crowd. And people would chime in, and I don't know if you had to pay to do it, but like, so you could tune in on cable and watch Monday Night Raw, and you could be looking in the crowd, and you could be seeing like an 8-year-old just sitting there with popcorn, just like watching from his webcam. And it's like, this is so goddamn weird, dude.
Yeah, it'd be funny. It's too bad nobody like did like a Tubin, like that guy that was on the news, just beat off on camera.
I think I definitely at the beginning of that, I think some of the guys were fucking around with that, but yeah, they definitely caught him and flagged him. But I think you could probably look it up on YouTube of guys that knew they were on TV and they kind of exploited their situation. Just like full dick and balls, just like doing the helicopter.
Hey, why not? It's my camera. I'm not breaking any laws. I'd just be like yelling into my webcam, not illegal, not illegal, not illegal.
But I mean, even back when the XFL had its first season, dude, they were doing really good. And then COVID happened, and then it just fucking shot them in the ground because they just started up a couple weeks ago. And
I know.
I mean, I'm seeing highlights. I saw Josh Gordon had a game-winning touchdown yesterday, and I mean these.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Dude, you got to think about it. Think of the amount of people that are in the NFL or the CFL, or I mean, that's pretty much what you have to play for professional.
Pretty much.
And then think about the number of college players that are trying to play at that professional level.
Yeah.
Dude, why wouldn't you say, all right, I didn't get drafted. You know, I played D2, I played D3.
Right.
Why would I not try to play for the Seattle Dragon Hawks or whatever the fuck it is? You know, like,
of course.
And it's like they're giving these kids like a platform to have an opportunity. It's like the NBA G League, dude. Like having this XFL. Like I just said, Josh Gordon had a game-winning touchdown yesterday. Yeah. And he was like a defunct NFL player who has such high potential, but he just keeps fucking up.
You know, baseball has like all those, you know, the AA versus A versus AAA or whatever. They have
like the AAA baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's weird that that's the only sport in America we do shit like that. Like there should be, like the XFL is great. And now there's a new one too, the USFL. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that was a couple years ago too.
Yeah. So there's like new leagues starting. And dude, if you can't make the NFL, like I will still tune into an XFL game. I think it's cool. Like there should be more leagues, like minor league football. Why not? Who cares? And dude, actually we started watching this brings up another whole thing. Lita and I started watching this show, which I don't know if you've seen it or not. Have you seen Welcome to Wrexham?
No.
Okay, so you know the guy that plays Mac in Sunny?
Yeah.
Okay. Him and Ryan Reynolds bought a team.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And there's the soccer thing.
Yeah. And there's a soccer team. Yeah, it's called Welcome to Wrexham. And it's about this soccer team in Wrexham that sucks. But they explain how soccer works in like the league and everything. And there are different tiers to the league. And depending on how well you do or how bad you do, there are teams that move in and out of the league. So if you fucking tank, you move down in rankings, like year after year, you keep moving down. Eventually, if there's a minor league team that is better than you, they move into the league and they bust you out of the league. So you can move in and out of like the leagues, which is cool. Does that make sense? It's kind of like if the Ohio State Buckeyes were just better than the Browns, like 3 years in a row. Now they're in the NFL and the Browns are a college team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I remember this is years ago. It was basically like it was something along the lines of whoever wins the XFL championship plays the worst NFL team, and then if they beat them, that they get to play in the NFL that season.
Right.
But did you ever play Blitz the League back in the day on like PS2?
Fuck yeah, I did, buddy. That was a great game.
That was pretty fucking cool because that was
dope.
like you started in D3, you had to beat all the teams in D3,
yeah.
and when you beat that and won that championship, you went up to 2, and the same thing with 2, you got up to 1 until you win that Division 1 championship. That would be sweet to have football year round. Like
yeah, dude.
These guys out playing and like, all right, so you won Division 3, you make it up to Division 2. Like, I think that would be a really cool like tier system because then you have people playing all year round. You can basically cycle through players.
Yeah.
Like, people can get traded between leagues and shit. So like, wow, he had a really good season this year. Let's bring him up to D2. So all of a sudden he's playing for the Seattle Ballcocks or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the Seattle Ballcocks.
And then he's like, all right. So then he kind of fell off, or he gets drafted by a Division 1 team, and like, I don't know, that would just be like,
it would
such
be cool.
More
it would be
fluidity, you know?
You know what I'm thinking? The more we talk about this, I think the reason why that doesn't exist is because some of these leagues are so big. Like, obviously, baseball is like America's pastime. You know what I mean? It's like the thing that's been around forever, since like the 1800s type shit. But
yeah,
I think these leagues become so powerful and so big that they want to monopolize views. So I think the reason there isn't like a mini NFL, other than, what's his name? Who started the XFL? McMahon, right? The guy that owns the WWE.
Well, no, he's like owned by The Rock.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, you have to be really powerful to try and start a competitive league, and everybody takes it as a joke, kind of. It's not like taken seriously. I think that's because the NFL is so goddamn big and powerful, and they don't want any competition. They want the only time you ever watch football to be these 4 months a year or 5 months, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
And they want their spot. And if football becomes a year-round thing, then less eyeballs on the NFL because football's always on, so it's less special now. So they must have some sort of play in that.
To kind of play like devil's advocate, so like imagine there was like the 3-tiered system where like, so say the regular NFL season was like, so what is it now, September to February?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So say, from March until August, there's basically the Division 3 and the Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get to the NFL season, you could have hypothetically watched dozens and dozens of games.
Yeah.
And it kind of would be weird to be like, all right, NFL season week 1, there's already been 400 games on this year, which kind of sounds ridiculous, but college football is all the same shit, dude. By the time you actually get into like the end of the NFL season, you know how many multiple times more there have been like college games? Like I don't know what the ratio would be, but the number of college football games compared to NFL games has to be crazy. I mean, I know the talent level is different, but like, goddamn, there is so like football season is so much. I mean, high school football, like little league football, like every fall there's, I don't want to say millions, man. I want to say tens or hundreds of thousands of people.
There must
revolving
be
time around. Revolving time around the sport of football.
How many football games are there in like one state? Like every Friday night or Saturday, high school wise, just high school, not even college. There's got to be like, how many games take place throughout an entire, like in Texas? Texas is a giant state, right? And they're big about
I was
football.
going to say, you can't compare it to New Hampshire where there's only like 8 teams. If you put it in Texas where there's like more teams than there are people.
Even New Hampshire though, I bet has a few hundred games. Like in that tiny state that doesn't care about football. I bet there's a few hundred just from New Hampshire. Like every Friday and Saturday during football season. Like think about it.
Well, between like Pop Warner and every single grade and every single high school, every single college. Yeah, dude, that's got to be a lot of games.
It's got to be maybe even thousands just in New Hampshire. So that means there's got to be tens or hundreds of thousands in Texas. So to say that there's millions of games played, football games, like how many, that's a great question, dude. It's cool to think about. On a Friday night, like Friday Night Lights and Saturday, in one weekend during football season, how many football games are played? Like an official game with referees, how many games total are played in one weekend? It's got to be like a million, dude.
Yo, do you think that's why the NFL, like the Super Bowl is so late into this, like it's literally like the first weekend of February, like which is way beyond, because the college like final playoff shit is like always New Year's. and then you basically have a month of nothing but like playoff NFL games.
Yeah.
And then the Super Bowl is like the max.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically spring and like summer training is what it is. But then like by the fall, it just all cycles again, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if like they push it off to February because it's like you've been watching football for 6 months. You've watched 2,000 games in your couch. Here comes a pregnant black chick to come out and sing to you about diamonds.
Oh, Christ. We never talked about the Super Bowl.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Bring it up. Tell me about what you think about a pregnant chick 50 feet up in the air ready to fucking pop.
Dude, the thing, I think, first of all, Rihanna is very talented. And she's beautiful. And, she does her thing. And I like some of her music. It's not my style, like that pop shit. But she's got some bangers. We all know. She's got a fucking catalog.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. The pregnancy announcement by like announcing you're pregnant again and doing it as a Super Bowl, pretty cool. Like nobody knew she was having another baby. Like with A$AP Rocky, nobody knew. Like she's been pregnant once, she had a baby, now she's pregnant again. Like she revealed that at the Super Bowl, which is kind of cool. Except for it's kind of weird because it's almost like she's trying to like have a big drop and she's using her being pregnant as like a big thing, like a pop. You know what I mean? Like she's coming out like, oh, like the big reveal, which whatever, dude, just play your music. There's definitely some lip syncy stuff.
Yeah, but it might have been maybe she was like she got the contract and then she got pregnant and then she's like, all right, listen, I'm gonna be pretty plump by the time the Super Bowl comes up. They said, nah, fuck it, we'll stick you up in the air and you'll be fine.
It's fine.
We'll give you a harness so it only breaks your legs when you fall the 40 feet.
She probably did like book the Super Bowl halftime show before she got pregnant because I think they do that pretty far in advance. So
did you like it?
Like as far as halftime shows go, dude, like I said, like I respect her and I'm a fan of her music, but it's not my thing particularly. It like as far as halftime Super Bowl shows go, there's been way better ones.
Yeah.
Like Prince's,
I don't think it was bad, but it was definitely dude, last year with Kendrick and like Dr. Dre
that
and 50
shit was
Cent, like,
fucking
dude,
wild.
That was the dope. Problem is that set the bar through the roof into the fucking like the galaxy. So the problem is like you have to have somebody play the next year. So I honestly thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, obviously you notice that she's pregnant and you're like, oh, well, that would explain why she's not running around. But I thought it like visually is still pretty cool. I mean, the songs are good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, I'm not going to give it like a top 5 of my all time by any means, but I still think it was
it felt short.
Yeah.
And
it felt very rushed.
Yeah, it felt rushed and there was like no crazy effects or no big props or anything. Like there's fun things that you can point to for every Super Bowl. I guess this one was the guys dancing on the platforms that got raised up. I guess.
Did you see? So basically, they had the platforms that were basically just like giant.
The guy that almost fell off.
Like, yeah, those things were like 15 by 15. Yeah, that guy like lost his footing and almost fell off the side.
Dude, could you imagine? Holy shit! Guy fucking dies in the halftime show. That's insane. He must have been shitting his fucking his bleach white pants were almost covered in diarrhea shit after that, man. That's crazy.
Imagine your whole life has just been you breakdancing in your room, then all of a sudden you have the opportunity to wear a Cookie Monster costume at the Super Bowl, and you just overheat, pass out, fall off the platform, and die in front of millions of people. Like that's what you're remembered for.
Oh
that's
my
awful.
God. That is rough. Yeah, that shit's crazy. But I guess so that's the memorable moment. But think about other, like, dude, Lady Gaga's halftime Super Bowl show was fucking epic. And I'm not even a fan of Lady Gaga, but like I remember that halftime show, she jumped off the stadium roof.
I don't remember that.
Like that was a thing. Yeah, so she was like wired in and she jumped off the stadium roof down onto the field. It was crazy.
I think the Super Bowl, I think what they should do is they should combine artists. So like they should do a rock or a hip hop and then do like a pop or a country or something.
Yeah.
So that way, okay, so you have what's her name? Billie Eilish or something. So throw her up on stage with Metallica, or throw a fucking, throw out like a Childish Gambino with a not note, like a Baby Rexha or something. Like I don't know, like mix it up. Like I don't want to sit there and watch. I mean, I would pay for front row seats for a Miley Cyrus Super Bowl show. Just because that's who I am. But like put her up there with like fucking like I don't know, Dr. Dre or something. Like beef
yeah.
it up so it's like, because you got to understand the demographic. Like who watches football is like generally males.
Yep.
Like with a masculine background.
Yep.
You know, like why the hell are you having freaking, you know, like pop stars up on stage? That's never made sense to me.
They're trying to get people that so here's what they're doing. Here's the reason why it's always like feminine, and once in a while they'll throw in a rock show to like make everybody happy. But the reason why it's like feminine type artists is because anybody that's going to be a man that's into football is already going to be watching anyways, regardless of the halftime show. So how do we get people that wouldn't normally be watching the Super Bowl to watch the Super Bowl?
Well, appease the normal audience, so give them the Metallica, and then appease like the soccer moms that want to watch it and throw up fucking Rihanna or something. I don't know.
That's what they did. So
yeah,
they're like, I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl, dude. I don't care who's playing at halftime. But
yeah,
they're trying to find ways to get people that aren't watching or not into it to watch it. They're trying to get more views. They don't care about making. They know every dude in the country is watching the Super Bowl. So how do we get like them bitches to watch it too? Well, put Rihanna in there, you know?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, dude, anyways, we're at like 52 minutes. What do you think?
I think we could probably wrap it up, man.
All right. You got anything you want to plug there other than my SK?
Mr. Matthew Buck gave me a mix and he gave me a beat last night, and
Hell yeah.
I'm working on those. And you gave me something for my little crash tape project that I'm working on, and yeah, buddy. Besides that, I'm hopefully gonna shoot a music video behind me. I have to set up a bunch of lights and figure out mapping. It's gonna be like a one take with like 5 cameras.
Nice.
So we'll see if I can pull it off. But
Damn.
I'm also sick as balls, so let's see how motivated I am.
You sounded good. You sounded relatively good for the pod. Yeah, no, not too bad.
I think it kind of cleared out because when I first threw on my headphones before I even talked to you, like my voice was like, yeah, I definitely sound different. I know I sound a little bit different, but yeah, I think just talking for this long probably cleared me out a little bit.
Well, that's good. Warmed you up.
What about you, J-Man? What's going on?
I have an appointment with the gravel outside of my room in about 5 seconds when I jump off the roof. But other than that, folks, you heard it here first, everybody. And we thank you and we love you, and we'll see you in another creamy week.
Have some creamy dreams.
Have some creamy dreams, everybody. We love you. Bye. Adios.